Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you've decided to tune in. Fans, we have a great show for you today. It was a good day in the system on Saturday for the Dodgers. Of course, anytime the LA Dodgers win at the top, it's always a good day. But in the system, you went 3-2. Of course, LA got the win. AAA Oklahoma City, they got the win. And then Rancho, they won as well. Then the middle AA Tulsa and high A Great Lakes, they dropped games. Of course, the Tulsa game was a great game again in front of a huge crowd at One Oak, downtown Tulsa in Drillville, but they got beat by the Wichita Wind Surge. So all in all, a good day. We're going to talk all about it. So we have a very busy show. But before we get into all that, just a reminder, hey, we have the ability to donate and help Dodgers Daily continue to grow now. Just follow the link in the description to help donate. And like I said, help Dodgers Daily continue to grow from that perspective. Also, if you like this video and if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, become a subscriber, and click that notification bell. If you turn on your notifications, you'll never miss a thing because you'll be notified every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, and Dodgers Daily can keep growing, and we can keep doing what we love to do, which is provide videos like this in the future. Okay, like we said, it was a very, very, very busy day, and anytime Los Angeles wins, they had a big bounce back after getting one hit on Friday with a 13-0 loss. It was a good grinding type win. It was a fun game to watch if you're a Dodgers fan yesterday, and LA, again, they grinded out a win. So we're going to talk all about that. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. LA had a big bounce back. As we mentioned just a minute ago, they scored 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the sixth, 2 in the seventh, and 3 in the ninth. That means they scored in 6 out of the 9 innings. That is the exact kind of offense that wins you games right there. When you're consistently putting pressure on the defense, you're scoring in 2/3 of your innings. Even if it's just one run, it just seems like when you do that, you always have the momentum. Chicago, they scored a single run in the first and the fourth, and 2 in the seventh, so they only scored in 3 different innings. So whenever you're scoring in twice as many innings as your opponent scores, which is what LA did last night, and you're consistently scoring, like I said, that means you have the momentum. And even though that's the offensive side of the ball, that momentum works, throughout the entire team. If your offense is playing better, and it seems like, like I said, you have that momentum, then your pitchers are going to pitch better. So we'll get into some of the bullpen work, but Dustin May yesterday was very good. Before we get into him, I wanted to show you, the sequence in the first inning. A couple of 14-degree, line drives right here. 14 degrees for a line drive here. Then Freddie Freeman gets a 14-degree hit, and then a 9-degree. I know it was hit into a double play by JD But this right here, this is what I always talk about. There's that 14-degree double for Freddie Freeman. This is what I always talk about in the sense that get that first run. That first run many times is the hardest run to score in baseball. Shoot, we saw that just Friday. So a lot of times, if it's the 4th or 5th inning, I know that was a double play ball, but he hit that ball very hard, and the tone was set. The Dodgers scored a run. They were hitting the ball hard. They were all playing good offense. It was good offense up and down the lineup. It was multiple people. And so, that set a tone that, hey, we're here to play good offense consistently throughout the day, something of which we saw the Dodgers do all day yesterday. And, when it's the 4th or 5th inning and you haven't scored yet, I'm just telling you, that dugout gets uptight. It gets tense. You can actually feel it. And then scoring that run becomes actually quite a bit harder at that point. So if you can just get that lid off, even if it's just one inning like LA did yesterday, even if you hit into tough luck like jdmartinez did that we just saw, it is a huge deal to get that one run because it relaxes everybody. You got that out of the way. Now after you get that run, now let's go to opening up a can and hitting home runs and scoring, putting those crooked numbers up on the board like the Dodgers did in 2 separate innings last night. So you played consistent offense. You got the lid off early. That was fantastic. You got the lid off early, then you played consistent offense and scoring in 6 of 9 innings. And then you scored late. You scored 2 runs in the 7th and 3 runs in the 9th. And then, your bullpen, other than the 7th inning, was good. We'll get into that here in a minute. Your starter was good. You only gave up, the 4 runs. But that was a formula for good baseball and winning yesterday. And it was a good win for the Dodgers. So I wanted to show you this sequence first from the game yesterday. I talked about this in our last show, but hey, Mookie Betts, the jack-of-all-trades type of guy, I think he gets, he's a thoroughbred and he's so good and he has so many skills and he's so talented. that just standing in right field and watching the Dodgers rely on only hitting home runs, I think that's a game that doesn't challenge his skill set. And from that perspective, I don't think the Dodgers always get, the best version of Mookie Betts, because I don't think he's always challenged. Okay, if he's playing second base, if he's playing shortstop, if he's stealing bases, even if that day, he didn't have from a results perspective, a successful day, look at Mookie smiling right there. He's having fun. That's going to bring out all of the best aspects. That cutout right there, you saw his right foot. We'll see it here in a minute ago. That's actually 13 feet. So, because if you did a circle, it would be 26 feet like the home plate circle is at home plate. So that home plate circle by regulation is 26 feet. So your cutouts around your bases are supposed to be half moons, which are 13 feet. So when you see his right foot right to that cutout, you always tell your runner to right to that right foot. You put your right foot right that cutout, because that's exactly a 13-foot lead. I learned this from a guy who played with Lou Brock, and Lou Brock taught this guy how to take a proper lead, how to get a jump, and all these things. So you take that 13-foot lead as a normal lead, and if you have a left-hander and you're going first move on him, then you cut that lead down to 12, okay, because you want that lefty to think you're not getting a big lead, and then you take a half a step back, okay, and when you take that half a step back, that makes the pitcher think that, hey, you're not going to steal, so they're not going to throw to first base, and then you steal on first move, which Mookie didn't take the half step back here, but he did go on first move. That's how you steal on a lefty, so, and then if you want a bigger lead, if you want to actually see the move of the pitcher, then you take about a 14-foot lead. You make it look like you have a big lead. The pitcher, see how he went on first move right there? The pitcher will then pick to first base, and everybody gets to see the move. So there's a couple little tricks that, Major League base runners and high-level base runners use to, get an advantage. But, like I said, if you can just open up the roles, I like to put it, hey, and I learned this from Dylan Neshot, the hitting coach that was with Great Lakes last year and was with Rancho this year. Hey, be a big gulp. Let's ask Mookie to be a big gulp, not a 12-ounce. As far as the roles that he plays, let's make him a big gulp. Let's give him a whole bunch of roles, and let's challenge that talent and the thoroughbred part of his game, and let's motivate him, and stimulate as far as the ideas of what he thinks he's going to do that day, and let's make him excited about it, where you can bring out the best part of Mookie. And so for that factor, I was very excited with the way yesterday worked out. These stolen bases are fun for me. It's 90 bases, but again, it's excitement. It brings a different element to the game, and I think that, overall just gets players a little bit more motivated. It was really good to see Miguel Vargas get a hit yesterday, and I'll tell you what, the expectations that were placed on him were so high, and Miguel's not one that, I don't even think he has social media accounts. I know he doesn't pay attention to the noise all the way around him, but he had to know all the expectations that were placed on him, and it was a lot, and it was a lot to handle. So, and then he had the injury, so when you combine the fact that he's not fully healthy with, the fact that he has so many expectations, it's been a very difficult, deal to situation to live up to, if you would, for Miguel Vargas. So, hey, he just needs to get comfortable. He needs to settle into his major league skin, and, hey, right there, he drew his hands inside the baseball. That's a very good sign. That tells me he has control of the bat with his hands. One thing that, I think he's doing that I think is probably causing him a few problems. He's so good at pulling his hands inside the ball that I think he's actually diving in and going around the ball a little bit, which is forcing him. Watch this go. He's going to dive in just a touch, go around the ball just a touch, and because of that, he has to actually really concentrate on pulling the hands inside the ball, and even with that hit, he gets jammed just a touch. So I think, he's leaning out just a little bit, and it's jamming him, and he's having to, like I said, really, really work to get the barrel to the baseball at this point. So I think maybe, he's diving in just a touch and going around the ball just a touch. But, hey, there's a lot smarter people working on all this stuff on a daily basis than I am. And Miguel Vargas has always been an elite hitter at the younger levels. And I think as he gets healthy and the hands start feeling, perfect, like the thumbs wrapped up and all that, and then he gets comfortable at the major league level, I think we'll see the Miguel Vargas that everybody thought we were going to get at the beginning of the year. Just wanted to throw this in there. Hey, as Dodgers fans, enjoy watching Freddie Freeman because, it's kind of like watching Clayton Kershaw. You're seeing just absolute greatness in front of your eyes. He's just an elite player. He's an elite human being. Just getting to watch Freddie Freeman on a daily basis. As Dodgers fans, we should feel very fortunate getting to do that even on days that the Dodgers don't win or if Freeman doesn't play great that day. This dude is just a great baseball player. Just wanted to kind of throw out there, as a Dodgers fan, I feel very fortunate to get to watch this guy play each and every day. Okay, so we talked the other day, hey, whose team is this? Who's the leader of this team? Well, I'll tell you what, the Dodgers are 22-3 in the last 25 games when Max Muncy's hit a home run. And I have a theory, Max Muncy has an edge to him. He has some, what I call some stuff in your neck. I don't always use the word stuff, but he has some stuff in your neck. He doesn't back down. He's got that edge that gets under the saddle of other teams. So when he's hitting home runs, I think he's a catalyst to the energy and the positiveness and just the edge that this team sometimes doesn't have. So from that perspective, I think Max Muncy and the edge that he brings to the game is that missing ingredient. I don't know, it's not always missing. Of course, on days he hits home runs, it's there. It's the ingredient that the Dodgers need, to have that edge each and every day. So, I just wanted to bring that out, that the Dodgers are 22-3 in the last 25 games that Max Muncy has hit a home run, and I don't think that's a coincidence. Okay, let's get to Dustin May, who I'll tell you what, man, his four-seam riding up the zone right there, that pitch right there, and then his cutter that takes the left turn, and then that two-seam that's taking that wicked right turn right now. Those are pitches that nobody else on earth right now, I don't think, can throw like this. I think this is the cutter right here you're getting ready to see. Yeah, there's the cutter right there. Backed up just a touch, but it has a good left turn to him. He threw quite a few good little cutters yesterday, and then you're going to see a couple of four-seam pitches. See, that cutter backed up just a little bit, and he's good at throwing it to the glove side as well, so he can throw that cutter to the arm side. There's that two-seam, the glove side and the arm side. There's that two-seam. See the right turn of it? Here's another one right here. Look at that right turn of that two-seam. He has the left turn of the cutter, and then he has the riding effect right there, the four-seam. Really what he has left to do, he has left to be consistent with the curveball, and the reason why that will be important to him to get him over the hump, as far as being totally dominant and elite, like he's totally capable of being, is because it'll give him that downward tumble, the downward movement, and just that depth to it. So then you have the riding effect, the rising effect that gives that upward effect to the hitter. You have the left turn of the cutter, the right turn of the two-seam. So now if you have that downward look to the curveball consistently, you would have every shape to get a hitter out with. Plus you're at 98 plus, 97, 98 plus at times, and you're long, so you have great extension, and then you hide the ball. Look how when he drops, he goes behind the back with the baseball, so the ball stays hidden for quite a while, and then it slingshots out of his hand, and you really can't see it, so it's kind of like it's invisible coming into the hitter. So Dustin May, he had a good outing yesterday, had a good pitch mix going for the Dodgers. What else can you say about James Outman? He leads all rookies in average on-base percentage, hits, home runs, triples, and RBIs. He's also hit more home runs than any other rookie in Dodgers history through March and April. And incredible as all that is, if you follow Dodgers Daily at all, you would know that comes as absolutely no surprise to me whatsoever. I've been telling you for a long time now that this dude, he's big, he's talented, and the best part of his game has always been his defense. How about that? As far as the fundamentals that he learned at Sac State, and then also his mentality. I've been telling you, this guy mentally is made for the big moment. I think we've seen that not just by how he's produced, but by, in the big moments, some of the pitches he's taken, in the dirt, that a lot of guys, even veterans, would be so antsy that, that's a pitch that the pitcher is trying to use your adrenaline against you and getting you to chase the zone. We've seen him spit on those pitches, and that's because his mentality is so good, and what he's learned to do is to take those hands flat to the zone and then turn that barrel with that top hand to keep the barrel flat and get to match the plane of that pitch, and he's become so good at it. And because of it, his barrel is in the hitting zone for a long, long time, which is why he's able to hit different speeds of pitches, different locations, and all those things. So right now, James Outman has the total package. He's a great defensive player, great mentality, great offensive player, great teammate. What is there not to like right now about James Outman? He's not just producing at a rookie of the year level. He's producing at a player of the year level right now. So James Outman, keep up the great work, young man. Oklahoma City got off to a hot start yesterday, scoring 2 in the first and then just 1 in the seventh. That was all they need. That's all they needed because Gavin Stone, he was back to his normal dominant self. He had a great outing yesterday for AAA Oklahoma City. He had that changeup going, and like I said, he was back to his dominant self. He went 4.2 innings. He gave up just 2 hits. He struck out 7. The young man from Lake City, Arkansas, went to Riverside High School. He played 5 sports at Riverside, and one of them was bowling. And his younger brother right now is still playing for his head basketball coach in high school, Buster Campbell, who is known as the Dean of Northwest Arkansas Athletics. And every time that Gavin Stone gets to go back home like he did in the offseason, he makes sure and hits up Coach Campbell, and they go out and have lunch and they talk and just catch up with things. And one of the fun parts of the offseason for Gavin Stone too is that he gets to go back and watch his younger brother play basketball, and he really enjoys that. And I asked him when I got to talk to him, hey, with the bowling thing, could you beat Mookie Betts? And he's like, oh, I'm not near that good, So I think it would be interesting if we got Gavin Stone and Mookie Betts together on the bowling alley and to see how that would go. But hey, it was great to see the minor league pitcher of the year in the Dodgers system from last year, Gavin Stone, back to his usual self. He'd had a couple of outings that had gone a little bit sideways on him, so he is back to being his normal dominant self. So great job, Gavin Stone. Keep up the great work, young man. We've talked quite a bit about the Los Angeles Dodgers bullpen. Does it need help? Does it need shored up? Hey, anytime that you go in the trade market for a reliever, it's always a sketchy deal because being in high leverage, it's already hard enough. But when you're doing it in an environment that is not comfortable around you, that you're not comfortable yet, you never quite know what you're going to get if you trade for a reliever. So, hey, the Dodgers, this is where they go out and they get these guys that, have been good in the past maybe, but need a little bit of reclamation, and they turn them around. Guys like Evan Phillips that we've seen in the past. And Wander Suero, he has been throwing very good for AAA Oklahoma City. Suero had all the time with the Washington Nationals. Okay, this is his 4th outing of the year, and his ERA is 2.08. His whip is down to 1.04. That was his 4th save of the year last night that he got. So he's been doing very good in that high leverage, 9th inning type role, getting saves. By the way, that's Albuquerque, and that was the largest crowd of any crowd in minor league baseball last night at over 11,000. And the thing about that is, in 1998, on the night that it was then the Oklahoma Red Hawks, I'm going to go ahead and play that again. There was over 14,000 at Bricktown. Now they've draped over the right field upper deck with signs and advertising now. But if you put seats back in there, the Bricktown ballpark in Oklahoma City could seat over 14,000. And when OSU and OU used to play there, they would sell out every single time they would play in Tulsa on Friday, then in Oklahoma City on Saturday and Sunday. And both games would be completely sold out. You'd have over 14,000 people watching OSU and OU play. And then the Red Hawks at that time, they would sell out on the weekends as well. And so, you would get, over 14,000 people a game. But now the largest crowd of the year so far in the minor leagues is just over 11,000. And that was what you're seeing right here at Albuquerque. I don't know how I got off on that, but hey, let's talk about Wander Suero again. This was his 4th save of the year. His ERA down to 2.08. His whip down to 1.04. His average against at 167. So like I said, he looks good in the late innings. Devin Mann, another multi-hit game. I talk about it every time I talk about him. When he gets hits, he gets them in bunches, no doubt about it. This was his 3rd multi-hit game in his last 4. He also has a 6-game hit streak, and he is 7 for his last 17 with 5 doubles. So when he gets hot, he absolutely does damage. The young man out of Louisville that is so versatile, like I said, kind of like the Luke Williams situation to where he went up with Los Angeles. Luke Williams has played every position except for pitcher and catcher. Devin Mann has done that exact same thing. So Devin Mann, he is hot right now for AAA Oklahoma City. The Tulsa Drillers continued their propeller series with close by Wichita. They dropped a tough one last night, 4-3, as Wichita scored 1 in the top of the 9th to take the lead. The Drillers could not score in the bottom of the 9th. What you're seeing right here is Jonnny DeLuca, who for the 3rd game in a row led off. Look at those sweet uniforms. Those are just absolutely awesome. They look like denim close up. It looks like a denim jacket's what it looks like close up. Those are absolutely sweet uniforms. Jonnny DeLuca for the 3rd game in a row led the game off with a home run. Yorbit Vivas that you're seeing coming up, he was on deck. He actually got a hit again to extend his hit streak. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But Jonnny DeLuca, hey, I mentioned it on Twitter. He kind of has that Ricky Henderson type game to him. Here's Yorbit Vivas taking that pitch right there. Here's that home run again by Jonnny DeLuca. Boy, that had the perfect launch angle to it. That was just an absolute moonshot by DeLuca. You know, he can steal bases. He can hit home runs. He plays good defense. Great athlete. Kind of has that Ricky Henderson style to him. So Jonnny DeLuca, you know, he's on the 40-man. He is having a good year in AA Tulsa. Very, very, very talented. Yorbit Vivas had a double and a home run yesterday and has hits in all 14 games this year. 15-game hit streak overall. If you go back to last year, he's hitting .377 OPS, 1101, and he leads the Texas League in doubles with 10. So it's not that he's just getting hits. He's actually doing damage too, like you saw on this video, with doubles. So he's slugging as well as getting hits in every single game and having a very high average at .377. Like I said, he is on the 40-man roster, both he and Eddie's Leonard, I should say, that play up the middle for Tulsa. Of course, like I've said, Vivas has played some third base this year too, but hey, he's having a great year with the stick so far. 14-game, he's hit safely in all 14 games, 15-game hit streak overall. I've said it a couple times now. I think Dustin May, who pitched yesterday, and Emmett Sheehan, I think they have the two most explosive fastballs in the organization. You know, Sheehan has hit 99, but the thing about him, he's so long. At 6'5", he gets that great extension. Watch him drop right there. See how he drops behind his right hip? And I think that, you know, the way he drops that, it keeps the hitter from being able to see the ball. It keeps the ball hidden, and so it makes it like invisible. They've called Emmett Sheehan's fastball the invisible ball because the hitter just doesn't see it until it's right up on top of him. That's because the way he drops right there behind his, you know, he's behind his back hip, and then it stays hidden behind his back and behind his ear until it comes out of his hand. So the hitter doesn't see it, and then he's getting great extension, so he's closer to home plate, and then it's coming, you know, at 99 sometimes, at least as high as 99. So that makes his fastball super, super, super explosive. It's the reason why, look at that ride, and then he gets that ride that comes in on a right-hander, and I'm just telling you, right-handers, when they swing at that, they do that right there. They get jammed, and they're late because, like I said, the ball gets on top of them, and then it's riding in on their hands. And so, you know, it's a very explosive fastball. I think it's one of the most explosive fastballs in the organization, and there are some huge fastballs. There's Jonnny DeLuca catching that ball in right field. Let me play this one again. Okay, so he was explosive again last night. Sheehan was. He was, you know, flashing that four-seam that was reaching the high 90s. You know, he also was throwing that slider that we've seen a couple of times. And, you know, so he has this year, to talk about how explosive he is, he has 29 strikeouts and 15.2 innings. So that goes to show you just how explosive Emmett Sheehan is. Watch this bomb by Jose Ramos. Wow. Well, he has that lift in his swing, you know, where he gets that negative bat angle, then his hands lift a little bit. So whenever he actually hits a home run, they are those pretty majestic-looking home runs into the Budweiser Terrace there in I don't know if it was sold out last night. I know it was sold out Friday night, but it was a great crowd last night in T-Town. It was a little bit chilly. It was probably in the lower 50s, about 51, 52 degrees, although the wind wasn't blowing. There's Carson Taylor getting ready to hit next, walking up to the plate. Watch this. Moonshot. Wow. When Jose Ramos hits a home run, it is very fun to watch. And then he also shot one to right field. Watch this. He's going to hit one to right field right here. Watch him stay inside the ball and shoot it to right field. That just goes to show you, you know, why the Dodgers are so, one of the reasons why they're so high on him, because not only can he be a slugger that can hit, there's Henny right there, look how excited he gets. The Mayor Drill Bill, Scott Hennessy, you're seeing it right there on your screen, the intensity that he brings every game. Not only can Jose Ramos hit those majestic home runs, he can also stay inside the ball and single the baseball to the opposite field. Very impressive set of skills. How about the big lefty out of Hofstra, John Rooney? He is really taking to this late inning high leverage relief role. He has done fantastic. You know, he has that sweeping slider, a good fastball, and I'll tell you what, man, you know, he has that kind of that hidden ball too, where he drops behind his back and it's tough to see the ball. And in these 1 inning, sometimes 2 inning settings, he's able to max out and, use that competitive mentality that he always has, and he has been very good. He went 1 1/3 innings last night again, okay, and he went scoreless. His ERA on the year is 1.17. His average against is just 179, and his whip is just 0.65. I'm digging this high leverage, high relief role for John Rooney. The Loons struggled again offensively yesterday, scoring only 1 run in the 4th and 9th. That was it. Dalton Rushing hit that home run in the 9th inning that we're going to see here in a minute ago. And they got doubled up by the South Bend Cubs, the high A affiliates of the Chicago Cubs. 4-2 yesterday. What you're seeing right here is Jonnny Fernandez. Boy, I'll tell you what, the Loons overall as a team haven't played great offense to this point, but Jonnny Fernandez certainly has individually. He had a 2-hit day yesterday for Great Lakes. That's Jonnyr's 3rd multi-hit game in a row. He is 8 for his last 11, and Jonnny is hitting .333 on the year. His OPS is .896. So the Dodgers' number 15 prospect, Jonnny Fernandez, having a good year with the stick. Here's that Dalton Rushing home run that I promised you. This is his 2nd one of the year. He will not stop at 2. This young man, he just has an elite hit tool, no doubt about it. Okay, and these 2 home runs have all come in the last 3 games. Let that weather heat up just a touch. Of course, I think it's been in the 50s the last couple of games for Great Lakes. A little bit windy, which isn't terrible, but again, it's not ideal conditions. It's not summertime conditions that hitters really like. As things warm up, let things warm up, and these Loons, like they did last year, they'll start putting up more than 2 runs a game, and you'll start seeing a lot more offense from them, in my opinion. Rushing has 4 hits in his last 5 games. His OPS is up to 10-17. So, like I said, one of the Dodgers' top prospects, Dalton Rushing, starting to get hot for the Loons. Antonio Knowles, I like to call him Antonio Nails because seems like he's nails every time he comes in. He had another scoreless outing last night. He has that big-time slider. I'm not sure it's not the best slider in all the entire organization. Knowles, the young man out of Key West, went 1.1 innings, 1 1/3 yesterday, gave up no runs. He had 2 strikeouts. His ERA on the year, Knowles, who you're seeing right there, getting a good look at, is just 1.35. His whip is just 1.05, and he has 11 strikeouts and just 3 walks on the year. Great job, Antonio. Keep up the great work. Boy, it's great to see Julian Smith let go of the ball like he's letting go of it right now. He is such a wonderful young man, and he is so talented, and he has such a great backstory. He grew like 3 inches his first year in college. He got to Catawba, and he was this guy that wasn't overly sized, and he didn't throw all that hard. Got to Catawba Community College, and like he says, hey, they took a 60-pound nothing and they turned him into a draft pick. So he is so thankful to all of his coaches and his experience back at Catawba, and he's continued to get better. I know for a lot of Dodgers fans that don't watch minor league games, maybe the only vision they have of him was in spring training whenever he was giving up a whole lot of runs, and Doc, quite frankly, left him in too long. So, hey, don't let that be your lasting memory of him. He is a lot better than that. He's a lot different than that. He's a very good pitcher, and he's very dynamic. He's very exciting to watch. He has a great style to him. He has a great backstory. And if you ever talk to him, whenever I've talked to him a couple of times, and you leave your conversation with him in a good mood because he has that positive, infectious type personality that people love being around. There's Jonnny Fernandez throwing out a runner. Good play right there. So, hey, Julian Smith, always root for him every single time he's on the mound. Every time I get a chance to tell people something good about him, I take advantage of it because I love watching this young man. Well, ho-hum, Audrey Acosta was pitching for the Loons, and guess what? He induced weak contact. He didn't give up a run, and that is something that Dodgers fans, if you follow the minor league system, you should be pretty comfortable with because that's pretty much what he did all last year after he came off the IL. He went from the end of May all the way through the rest of the year, did not give up a run. And, it was so impressive as far as that streak of scoreless outings that the Dodgers actually gave him a little bit of runway in spring training to get a good look at this young man because, like I said, that little sinker right there that has that sink to it, that's a really good pitch. It's very heavy. And what I mean by heavy, it has that late movement, which means it's moving away from the barrel. So as a hitter, it never feels like it squares up off your bat like that. Just weak contact after weak contact after weak contact, and it's because of that late movement that just moves off of the barrel You know, like that hitter's like, how did I miss that? Well, it's because that ball is moving like there's some more weak contact where that thing just moved off to the end of the bat. Audrey Acosta is absolutely the master of that. And then there's one right there where the hitter's like, how in the world did that pitch hop back over the plate and become a strike? And so then there's another sequence right there where he actually started that on the right hip of the lefty, hopped it back over the plate. Then he started it out over the middle of the plate and had it move to the outer part of the plate to induce weak contact. That is very high-level stuff from Audrey Acosta. He is so good at doing it. He executes that very well, and he allowed 2 runs in his first outing this year, which was kind of, we were like, wait, what's going on with Audrey, right? Well, hey, how about this? He hasn't allowed a run since. So great job, big man. Keep up the great work. Rancho put up a 6th spot in the 3rd. They scored 1 in the 8th, and they beat the Fresno Grizzlies 7-3 yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different Quakes had hits yesterday. Jose Izada at the top of the lineup had a hit. Raindon Cone had a hit. Kyle Nevin, he continues his great offensive play. Matter of fact, Raindon Cone had 3 hits. Jesus Calise had 3 hits as well. Nick Biddison had a hit. And then Perez at the bottom of the lineup, he had a couple of hits as well. You're looking at Yohan Valdez. He threw 2 innings yesterday. He was the opener. I love his style. He has a really cool style. You know, he has that, you know, just a lot of, I don't know, just moxie to him, if you will. He went 2 innings yesterday. He had 3 strikeouts and a walk. You know, so he started the game out very well. Ivan Reynoso, he also had a scoreless outing. And Lucas Wepp, he came in to finish off the game last night. And he actually struck out the side for the last 3 outs for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. So at the single-A level, Rancho, they defeated Fresno yesterday 7-3. So there you have it. There's our show for you today. Again, you got the 1 win at the top with LA, so that makes it always a good day. And then AAA Oklahoma City win. You had the 2 losses sandwiched in the middle for AA Tulsa and High Great Lakes, and you finished off a good day with Rancho. And Sunday is going to be another busy day before the scheduled off day on Mondays that all the minor leaguers get. Of course, LA, they don't get the Mondays off like the minor leaguers do, but the minor leagues last year, they went to the 6-game series and the scheduled days off on Monday, so there will be no content. There will be a show Monday morning from Dodgers Daily, but nothing, you know, as far as the action in the minor leagues from that day. Okay, I hope you enjoyed today's show. One more reminder that we do now have the ability to help Dodgers Daily by donating. We have the link to donate in the description, so head down to the description, check out that link. If you'd like to donate, click that. It'll take you right to it and tell you how all to do that, how to help Dodgers Daily from that way. Also, if you like this video and if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, become a subscriber, and after you subscribe, click that notification bell. That way, every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, you'll get notified. Dodgers Daily can keep growing, and we can keep doing what we love, which is providing videos like this in the future. As always, thanks for tuning in, and go Dodgers!